All right, here we go. Episode 8 of the
Eight?
marketing.
Already.
Yes, eight of the
Jeez.
Marketing Shtick with Philly Marketing Labs. I'm your host, Bishara Jaude, and I have Trisha Lamb and Joe Norton.
Hello.
How's it going?
What's up, guys?
Not much, just freezing. It's
Freezing.
super cold out. And
So Trisha is in
Super-
Ohio.
yeah.
Well, we warmed up
Ohio?
Philadelphia over here. We're going to
Is
talk
it-
about Philly today. So today
is it
was the parade
snowing
for the Eagles. No, who cares about the weather? The Eagles won the Super Bowl. It's funny. We have a job posting, as you know. So PML is recruiting for a PPC specialist. So if you're a PPC ninja and you want to be part of this crazy crew, look us up on Indeed or LinkedIn and apply for the job. But we've had probably 6 or 7 candidates so far submit, and it's funny. And 4 out of the 7, I have a line in the survey that says, "Why do you want to work for Philly Marketing Labs?" And 4 out of the 7 said, "Well, the Eagles won the Super Bowl," as one of their reasons.
No.
What?
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was hysterical. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Who knew that your city team wins the Super Bowl and it becomes a recruiting differentiator?
That's all Philly needed. Who would have thunk it?
Wait a minute. You're serious. You're serious.
Oh yeah, I'm not making this up. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing. Can I meet these people?
Well, one of the candidates put that she has karaoke skills in her resume, which it's actually smart. You talk about relevance. We talk about relevance in marketing, and what I'm seeing.
It's a personalized resume.
It's a personalized resume, exactly. That's her standard resume probably does not have karaoke in it. But a lot of employers use automation to identify, relevance of the keywords in the job posting and candidates' resumes to sift through high volumes of resumes. So when your resume is super relevant, it surfaces to the top. So in our job description, we're a pretty fun crew. We do a lot of karaoke when we get together. So we have a line about karaoke and that we're looking for a fun, dynamic person, not a grump. And that person put in karaoke. She infused her resume with some of the keywords, which I thought was pretty clever.
Mm-hmm.
So people go back and adapt their resumes to match the key points that they're. Yeah.
I mean, what do you guys think of that? Do you think that is that cheating, or is this being smart?
No, people have always done that with the objective line on their resume. They craft that to the employer, and also the cover letter. Excuse me, the cover letter. That's always customized specifically for the job and for the employer. So I think this is just an extension of that.
Yeah, no, I thought that was pretty cool. So speaking of relevance, Super Bowl ads. So who anything stick out for you guys? I mean, I know I watched the Super Bowl for the ads and the commercials.
Right.
They are always super amazing, but I have to say that the Alexa one did stand out for me. If you guys saw that. Oh, yeah. It activated my Alexa. I hear it right now. It really did. And the fact that they had Anthony Hopkins at the end and he was getting into character of being Hannibal Lecter, that was awesome because I'm a big fan of that movie.
That's cool.
Yeah, they had a lot of star power in that commercial. I mean, even Jeff Bezos himself, right? So that was pretty cool.
He took the time.
took the 5 minutes out of it.
I wonder how much his minute is worth, right? Like if you take like what he makes a year and divide it down to the minute, it's pretty impactful probably. But yeah, he stopped trying to conquer the world and for 5 minutes and shot his commercial. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Cool.
Gordon Ramsay making how to make a grilled cheese cracked me up. It was like, it's the name, grilled cheese. It's in the name. He
is so angry, this guy.
I
know. I wanted to research this before the show, but I didn't get a chance. Everybody was wearing these headsets in the Alexa ad, and they had the Alexa light going on them. I don't think that's a product currently.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it's in the lineup of
Maybe a
Alexa
future product, or
products.
maybe just an imaginary product. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the light, you know, kind of like Knight Rider, you know, that's so associated
Yeah.
with that. They're associating themselves with that rotating blue light.
Or they just put an echo on their ear to make it look like a
Right.
an Alexa headset.
Right. So I wonder though, I mean, how cool would it be if they came out with with an Alexa powered headset in a couple months, and then we would have seen it already, but no one talked about it. So that's
That
cool.
would be interesting.
Yeah, so that was pretty funny. I think that was a humorous ad. The two that stood out for me is Australia, you know, with the Crocodile Dundee as a movie trailer. That totally caught me off guard because I'm a big fan, and I totally thought that was a movie trailer.
Yeah, and Danny McBride does not fit within those,
Yeah.
you know, as being Crocodile Dundee.
I just imagine his character from Eastbound and Down every time I see Danny McBride. And so that trailer was cracking me up, and I was totally not expecting
I mean,
the
it's believable that they would be doing another
yeah.
Dundee,
He's
right?
shaving with the knife, and oh man.
And it's his son.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and he's like a big wimp too. Like, really? Like, are you a Dundee? So I thought that was pretty cool. And that was another one. I wonder though, like it's interesting because I see a lot of countries advertising here in the States for their tourism, and everybody has a different angle. A few years ago on Fox Business, there were all these islands and other countries that have privacy in their banking, and they're trying to get investors to move there and that kind of thing. So it's interesting to see Australia. You know, Korea did the big one a few years ago. I'm trying to think who else did, you know, country
definitely
specific.
some international.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
I wonder if we have some cool America ads running abroad. I'd like to see those.
I would like to see.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't get cable, and I think I've said this before, but I mentioned to Bashara the other day, have you seen these ads for country, or is it like onlycountry.com or something? What is it? This dating service?
Farmersonly.com.
Farmersonly.com. And I am just cracking up at these commercials. So that's
for the record, this is not scripted. I have no idea where this is going.
Okay, no.
Go
So
ahead,
I'm
continue.
sure that something like that's running for our American ad. Farmersonly.com. I don't know, maybe.
You know, you say that before I moved to America, if you would have asked me to describe what I think America was, I would have described the Marlboro commercial, like cowboys and big farms. Seriously.
See? So that was completely relevant. Farmersonly.com.
I just was scared where you were taking this conversation. But yeah. So did you apply? Did you open an account?
No. I kind of want to just to see like, I don't know.
Hey, listen, it's all about relevance and being in the right demographic, right?
Tailored to your demographic.
Yeah. So Mountain Dew was pretty cool with Morgan Freeman, Fire and Ice. I thought that was a good marriage of two brands, you know, given they're owned by the same conglomerate, but there were two brands that kind of got together and leveraged one another. And it was black and white. It was very very contrasty.
High contrast,
high contrast ad.
My favorite ad was definitely the Tide commercials. Well, first of all, the pick of the guy from Stranger Things. I wish I knew his name, but what an awesome pick. You know, you couldn't find a more likable but yet ordinary looking guy.
Yeah.
And the whole theme, you know, of like turning every other ad into a Tide ad was pretty incredible. And we discussed this earlier, and you were saying that they are owned by, Old Spice is owned by the same company. So
Procter & Gamble, yeah.
So they were able to get like, you know, the same guy and stuff like that. And so they had you believing, you know, that every other ad was turning into a Tide ad for a little bit.
Yeah. Between frequency and diversity, they nailed it. You couldn't tell. And, you know, talk about a brand that knows its audience. I mean, people were drinking during the Super Bowl. People were, you know, loose and they're funny, they're laughing, they're having a good time. So they weren't in a very serious mode. And, you know, what's better than a running joke, right? And keep you guessing. And it forced you to pay attention, because we all have ADD now, watching TV and multi-screens and having a phone on the table, coffee table, and you're trying to keep up, and they definitely captured your attention. Yeah, I thought it was very smart.
One of my favorite ones. Sorry, go ahead, Trisha.
All I was going to say is they had like the commercial running, and it was awesome as it was. But then a few commercials later, they had the Old Spice guy come in, so it was like almost like a
cameo.
Yeah, exactly. It was awesome.
I liked when they had the Tide commercial where they had the Tide guy from Stranger Things doing the Mr. Clean dance.
Yes,
right? Making fun of that commercial.
Yeah,
which was kind of controversial, and how they kind of like sexualized Mr. Clean.
Yep.
It was a riot to see that guy doing that. It was kind of like Chris Farley-esque, his physical comedy.
Yeah,
it was really funny.
It was really very well done. I honestly think they, from a so we'll talk about what are the intents that these brands have from Super Bowl ads, but out of all of them, I feel like they got the most stickiness of the brand in there. They made their brand sticky, and it associated itself with every other ad, even if it wasn't one of theirs. We're calling them as their commercials, but it was really, really interesting how they cross-pollinated across multiples.
They had me focused on white clothing in ads,
clean shirts.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
What commercial have you seen where people are wearing dirty clothing? Right?
Wait, Fast and the Furious. What is the guy, the bald head guy's name?
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel. If you notice, no matter what scene he's in, if he's been rolling through the dirt, he always has a clean white T-shirt. Speaking of like clean clothes, like
Tide commercial. Right
it could be a Tide commercial. Come on.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And they definitely got their brand out there. And Trisha, earlier you were saying about how they've been struggling with their brand and how it's been dragged through all these teens daring each other to eat very negative, eating the Tide Pods and
the whole Tide Pod challenge thing.
I feel like this could have lightened the mood to let them know, Tide's just, I don't know, just lighten the mood, I should say, and bring some humor to it. Kind of bring back that high-spirited brand that they've always had.
You know what's interesting? We just had, I don't know, 15 minutes worth of debate on the ads, and none of us picked or mentioned any of the non-funny ads. And yet there were a few, right? So Dodge Ram did one, Verizon did one, where it was hearts and minds versus pulling at your heartstrings type ad versus funny. And we only remembered the funny, even though some of the other ones have a lot of value and impact in the moment, right? Kind of bringing a tear to your eye. But I don't think they were pretty well executed. Did you guys watch any of those?
I did. I feel like all these commercials were specifically made for Super Bowl day. And Super Bowl day is getting with your friends, having fun, eating food, and it's supposed to be fun and lighthearted. Nobody really pays it. I mean, sure.
People aren't in the mindset to absorb something emotional.
I think that's a different, time. In my opinion.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. I think it's really tough for businesses advertising during the Super Bowl to come across genuine when they're trying to approach these really emotional topics. And so that's a real problem. And it's not really an environment that's conducive to that, because like you said, everyone's kind of drinking, having fun. You're not hoping to be moved. You're hoping for some laughs before you get back to watching the serious game.
Yeah.
And, along the same line, I saw some politically charged ads that seemed to fell flat for me. Maybe it's because of the audience, but they just seemed out of place, and they were taking up time that I would have rather had a fun commercial from a consumer product brand.
Yeah. I felt that way too. WeatherTech was one of the brands that does the floor liners, laser measured and cut floor liners for your car. I think they have an amazing product. It's a great holiday present as well for people. But their ad was pretty interesting. It was a shot of a new factory they're building here in the United States, and WeatherTech always talks about how their product is made in the USA, and we're all for it, and it's patriotic, and I'm not knocking them for that. But their ad felt like, made in the USA, isn't it how it's supposed to be, or something like that, which is great. I support that message. Yeah, hooray! But it wasn't. It felt like
just pushed too much.
too close. Listen, we're all tired. There's everybody's fighting on TV. The political climate is charged up. The Super Bowl is one time where we can all, not be politically charged and just root for our teams.
Did you guys see the Mucinex one? There was a Mucinex one where it went through the Mucinex commercial, and then at the end of it, it said something about now how many people is going to call in sick the day after the Super Bowl, or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it was, but that I think is pretty ingenious because think about it.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I remember I used to go to Atlantic City a long time ago, and on your drive back, like when you're leaving Atlantic City, there are all these billboards like stay a day longer, call in sick, and then the next billboard would say, out of sick days, call in dead. So know your audience, know what mode they're in, right? Yeah. So we're in a drinking, happy, funny mode. We want to ingest more of that. Right. So, you don't see anyone running funeral commercials at a comedy show, like you have to touch people where, at the right venue.
So this like makes me wonder. So it certainly seems the case this Super Bowl that humor definitely won out versus heart. But like, it makes me wonder, has it always been that way? Is the Super Bowl just not a good venue for doing that kind of heartfelt approach? Is humor always going to win out? Brand awareness, humor, something that just is water cooler, prime, ads.
I don't know, Bashar, you're pretty old. Can you remember back when?
Shots fired.
Triggered.
I feel triggered. We need a safe zone in this show. So, I remember sitting with a nonprofit once through a marketing pitch, and I remember the director of marketing there saying, kids with cancer and with no hair don't raise funds for our nonprofit. And that shocked me. I was like, I could not believe he said that. And the more I listened and I learned about it, there's a degree at which individuals detach and disengage because it's just too much emotion, too much to digest, to synthesize in our brains, and it's too much sadness, and you disengage from it, and you lose your audience. So I think there's a degree of sadness you can get to, and I think creativity in marketing and in messaging is where you can deliver a heartfelt message, but it doesn't have to be sad, and it doesn't have to be charged, and it doesn't have to be politically polarized.
Yeah. Someone who does that well is Shriners. Like those ads, man. Ugh. The poor kid makes me want to donate.
I seriously about pulled my phone out the other day and paid the $20 a month for the, is it the ASPSC or what is it?
The animal shelters?
Oh, yes. I'm an animal lover, and then they show these.
I can't see those ads. They make me so sad. I flip the channel.
Like, I switch. $20. It's just 6 cents a day or whatever it is. Or whatever.
Yeah. No, there are
just 6 cents every minute. That's it.
Yeah. No, those are these are good ads. But what I'm trying to say, and they're all definitely great causes, and I'm a pet person myself. But there's at a certain level, it becomes way too painful to watch those, and it's. Yeah. So, I mean, what the last thing actually I want to talk about before we switch over to the Super Bowl topic is the cross medium, right? So in marketing, we talked a lot about that we live in multi-screen universe. Everybody has 2 or 3 screens in front of them at any point during the day. when you're watching TV, you also have your phone with you. And now with voice marketing and Alexa and Google and everything else that's voice triggered, I felt like the time is right now to cross that bridge in our Super Bowl commercials. That's an opportunity where I love the Alexa ad that they had, the Alexa commercial. But imagine if they had some kind of trigger that triggered people's Alexas in their homes. That was, subdued as a secondary thing in the message. Maybe a celebrity speaks through it to echo what was happening on TV and have it work, both ways. So you wouldn't know if you didn't have the Alexa at home. That would have been so cool. And only people that had the Alexa would have experienced it. Like, that would have been such an awesome thing. The marketing community would have gone crazy talking about it. They would have been pioneers.
So at first I was thinking Alexa should give you like a free shipping on your next purchase on Amazon, or like a free audiobook on Audible. But just now you made me think of, they should have given you the ability to switch the voice to like one of those stars, even if it was just for like a week. That would have been hilariously awesome,
I mean, you can do it on your, you can do it on your iPhone. You can switch the voice.
Yeah, but no, hear what we're saying. What we're saying here is, if you were watching that commercial and your Alexa was in the room right after that commercial, they could have captured your attention with Alexa giving you a feature that no one else has, only because you heard that commercial.
I love it.
They would have killed the commercial that's coming after them.
You can have Hannibal Lecter for a week, giving you your weather in time.
And it's exclusive. It's exclusive to those who watched the...
Yeah, that would have been a really sweet reward for people who bought in early to Alexa.
Yeah. Wow. Let's pitch
right,
Amazon
though.
on it.
Yeah. You're right, though. There were missed opportunities. I don't remember really any of the ads, moving to another platform, trying to get me to engage with them somewhere else, other than a social media platform, and that doesn't count.
Yeah. I mean, I think last episode we talked about SMS marketing. I mean, think about like even bringing that to the table at the end of something, say, get this special discount here or whatever. I don't feel like
know something? Yeah, something, Trisha? I think that's a great point you bring up. But what is the objective of these ads, right? What are the key performance indicators? What are the metrics that these brands are looking for through those ads on Super Bowl? Do you think they're really looking for purchases in store, or is this a branding exercise?
I think it's just getting the brand out there, being humorous, and so people are talking about it, getting the word on the streets, kind of thing.
I think it's also an investment in kind of like the long tail traffic they'll get from that ad being on YouTube forever. There's probably, it's not just all the eyeballs during the Super Bowl and the week after, but it's like that thing's going to be seen for a while.
Evergreen. Yeah. It's evergreen.
Just like Janet Jackson did.
Yeah. I heard people saying, I hope it's not Janet Jackson making an appearance in the halftime show.
Yeah, and making the stunt.
Yeah.
That was not...
Did you hear they almost did a hologram of Prince, and then they called it off last minute?
Really?
Yeah, because the estate of Prince spoke with Timberlake and told him please don't do that. He wouldn't have wanted that.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
I mean, they still projected him on... Who did they do a hologram of? Was it Michael Jackson they did a hologram of?
They did one of him. Also, the Tupac one from years ago was really famous. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what technology it looks like now for holograms.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that concept of KPIs and what's important. We had an interesting debate yesterday. I think it was in one of our circle meetings, and it was the KPI versus metrics. And I thought that was a pretty interesting debate. At first it came very naturally to me, but the more I thought about it, it's very important for business owners to understand the difference and focus on the right one, right? Because go ahead.
It's one of those basic questions that you sometimes skip. They seem that you overlook them because they seem simple, but it's if you get that basic question wrong, then your entire strategy is off center. You need to be focused on specifically how you define success, how your business defines success for that given campaign. Yeah.
Yeah, so I almost made the mistake today. So like we led the call by saying that we have a job opening for a PPC specialist, and I was looking. Indeed gives you a dashboard report, and I brought it up, and it shows you impressions of your job listing, clicks on your job listings, the position you showed up in, the click-through rate, the applications, like how many applications you received, the cost per application. And I was, because being in AdWords and everything, I zoomed in on click-through rate. And then I caught myself, I'm like, why am I looking at click-through rate when I have the job applicants? And my key performance indicator for a recruiting campaign is how many applicants I get and the cost per applicant, not the click-through rate on my job posting. That's a metric. It's an important metric.
Yeah.
I need to focus on applicants. And I found myself reminding myself of that, like as I was looking.
Yeah, it's easy to get distracted because they're obviously all related. But if you're optimizing for the CTR, really, you're perfecting for the perfect ad,
Right.
you know, the perfect SERP, you know, even. But if you're optimizing for the actual applications, then you're looking at a more holistic picture of, the pipeline.
Because if I would have optimized for click-through rate, I could have optimized the wrong, variables, and actually for that day, the highest click-through rate did not result in the highest number of applicants. So companies and business owners need to focus on what is really important for my business, look at that, and then from there go to the metrics that impact that KPI, because other metrics, doing good or bad on them may not impact the end result.
So your end result, did you like have a number in your mind that was your KPI, personal KPI, that 20 applicants would be worth my while what I'm doing here? Yeah. Or how do you come up with that on this particular example?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good question. So number of applicants is the KPI. Right. Now, how many? I didn't have a benchmark for the amount of them. So I'm letting it run. It is what it is. I think it's costing maybe $24 an applicant right now, the way it's running, which is not bad. It's cheaper than hiring a recruiter. But I don't know. So for my example, cost per applicant is simply a metric. It's not a key performance indicator. However, if I had multiple mediums I was running, so say I was running Indeed and LinkedIn and doing my own homebrew AdWords campaign, I can now compare. So the cost per applicant becomes a KPI to compare those three mediums and say, okay, I should put more money in the medium that's generating the lowest cost per candidate, per applicant, assuming all else being equal, same quality and all that stuff.
Sure. Very cool.
That's a good question.
Yeah. So being someone who works in analytics a lot, I like when the KPIs are conversions, because we often have hard data on, this is where they landed, then they went here, and then they converted here. And maybe even if they have a proper e-commerce setup, then you even know the dollar amount, that kind of thing. But when it's a awareness focused campaign, it's much more difficult to get a grasp on things. But so you have more exposure with that. How do you feel? Do you think it's easier to track nowadays?
You mean, is it, so the question is it easier to track, or
the effectiveness of an awareness-based campaign?
Yeah, so it is and it's not, depending on the type of campaign. So for AdWords right now, for text search, we leverage impression share for most of our clients. Impression share is the KPI, the key performance indicator, and also the ocean of keywords that we're going after. Because obviously, if you're going with a fixed amount of budget, fixed amount of money, if you go for a very large pool of keywords, your impression share is going to be lower on them. Think about it. If you had 50 PSI to put in 4 tires, you can fully inflate a couple tires, or you can
spread it around
across all 4 tires. So impression share is a very important metric for brands that are only interested in reach. And from there, we look at the impression share that is being lost to budget versus lost for quality. So kind of looking under the hood, we want to make sure that we're losing the impression shares to budget and not quality, so we can be optimizing optimizing the spend that we have at hand. So it's easier that way. But you look at something like YouTube, for example. the inventory is so massive that you could spend $1 million a month and not get 20% impression share on YouTube. So impression share is not a good KPI. So what we do is we work with our brands to say, okay, what is a cost? We optimize for cost per view, right? Because there are unlimited views. So we try to capture as many of them with as little money. We look at the quality of the view, how far into the video the visitor watched. And we optimize as a benchmark against other mediums. So if direct placement is costing 8 cents per view and we're getting YouTube views of the same quality for 4 cents per view, we feel like YouTube is the better medium. So, and a lot of it is qualitative too, where are the videos appearing, what targeting are we using, things along those lines. But yeah, it is a challenge. And 100 million people watch the Super Bowl. So, I'm guessing brands are computing their cost per view as well, right? Cost per impression.
That's true.
Yeah. But think of it this way. That's we can end on this note. Is there was an article put out by a higher up at YouTube. Tommy shared it a couple hours ago, and it said you're targeting a household on TV, right? So let's say married women with children is your target audience or your target persona, and TV now allows you to target households that have women with children in them. But how do you know it's the mom watching TV and not the child, right? So even when your targeting is as good as it gets, TV is a shared experience in the household. It's not a unique screen. Now, targeting YouTube on a mobile device, there's a likelihood someone else in the household is using the mom's phone, but it is far more likely that it's her than comparing that to the TV. So there's a big war brewing between TV and YouTube, and we feel it managing our clients because we're fighting over the same dollars. Put those working dollars in YouTube or put them in TV. So it's the exciting world we live in.
Right, the future.
Wow.
The future, yeah. So this has been a great show, guys. Thank you for joining me. Always very smart conversations. If you're watching the show and you lasted till the end, hopefully we didn't lose you at the farmers only.
Hey. I'm gonna actually start an account right now.
We should see if they will sponsor the show in the future.
Oh my god.
So yeah, so don't forget to subscribe to the show. Let us know how you feel in the comments, and until next time, thank you guys.
See you guys.
Bye.